What up guys, it's Ram for Life here today and I'm back with another video. Now today's video we're going to be talking about how to fix the Universe 6 versus 7 tournament arc. Now I actually really enjoyed this arc, so there's not much I could change about this or want to change about this, but there are some definitive things that I think they could have done better with this arc. Now compared to Resurrection of F and the other ones that come after, this one is actually decently well done. There's only minor stuff that I feel like there was a problem. The biggest problem I had with it was simply the fact that it was a little too short. I felt like it could have been a lot longer than what it was, and there was just a couple of choices they made here and there that I personally just wasn't a fan of. So let's get into how I would fix this arc. One, like I said, I'll make it longer. So let's get into how I'll do this. Now, when they were doing the first beginning of this arc, they had the process of getting the candidates for it and then transitioning into the fight itself. Now, there's some stuff the way they did it. For one, the way they started off was with Beerus' brother Champa coming there and him having a competition with Beerus about like different foods and stuff, and then they said whoever wins, gets to take the other planets, Earth home and stuff, because they wanted Universe 6 didn't have an Earth. It was basically destroyed, and he wanted basically the Universe 7's Earth and bring it over to his. So that was the whole battle about, and they had the Super Dragon Balls as a constellation prize in the whole thing. I have no problem with any of that stuff. I think that was cool. I think also the initiation to getting them to the Universe 6 vs 7 tournament was also pretty fine. Though I will say I personally don't like the fact that they left out Fat Boo for whatever reason. I felt like they had a very stupid excuse. Their excuse was he fell asleep, so he couldn't get in. I did not like that idea. I also don't think that they needed that whole test thingy where they took the test to see how intelligent they are, because even if he was awake, he would have definitely failed because of that. But yeah, I don't think that was necessary either. I would have kept Fat Boo in it because I want to see him do something. The whole point, and after the Boo Saga ended, they left him alive, was for him to do something. For him to just be left alive and come back and do absolutely nothing, like how he was shown throughout most of Dragon Ball Super, is basically is a complete waste. What's the point of having him there to do nothing? He should have a role, and him falling asleep, I think, is very lame reason to get him out. I think they should have just kept him in there. Also, I would have changed some of the combatants from Universe 6 because I do not like a lot of the fighters from Universe 6. The only fighter from Universe 6 that I actually really cared about was Hit. So Hit, I'll completely fine. I like his personality. I like his design. I like his abilities, how he fights, how he acts. I like everything about him. So I'm not going to change anything about him. But the rest of the competitors, I think they could have had a better, decision, choices they could have picked. They could have picked characters that were more, decently powerful and whatever. So, for example, let's talk about Cabba. Now, Cabba was considered, they picked him out because he was a Saiyan, and because, his team had two Saiyans, and they were obviously the top guys for Beerus. So, Champa told Vados, why don't you find a Saiyan from our universe? I'm fine with that, but the problem with it is Cabba was way, way too weak. He had nothing that he could really do to, handle Goku and Vegeta. Also, I do feel like with them introducing the Universe 6 Saiyans, they kind of did ruin it when it came to the Tournament of Power. So I would fix this up by, one, changing his design. I do not like the scrawny little weak midget design they gave to him. He's literally a short little kid. He looks like a kid. He does not look like a grown-ass adult Saiyan. I don't like that idea. I would have made him look more badass. I would have probably made him look like something like Shallot, from Dragon Ball Legends. So I would have made his design like, Shallot, for one. Two, I would have made him, I would have made him the strongest Saiyan from, Planet Vegeta, or, Planet Sadala at this time. And the reason why I would make him the strongest is because he told Vados to find, the best, combatants for the tournament. So why would she pick a Saiyan that would not be the strongest? And the reason why I'm saying this is because when we see later on the Tournament of Power arc, we have Kale and Kefla, and these two characters are significantly more powerful than him. Once when they go to Super Saiyan, he becomes completely overshadowed, which I personally did not like. Personally, what I would have done was have, Vados pick the strongest Saiyan and Cabba being the strongest Saiyan instead of, those other two. I would have had him be the strong Saiyan for one. Two, I would have had him already obtain, Super Saiyan, Or actually, what I would have done is I would have had him have a mutation. Like, there's a mutation in his universe with his Saiyans. I know they kind of did it in the original, in the original story with them not having tails, but I still think that that's not enough. I think they should have had something a little bit more unique with them to make them so powerful. So yeah, one, his design will be Shallot's design. Two, he would be considered the strongest Saiyan, not Kale or Kefla, and you will see what I'll do with them, or if I even have them in the future arc. But I would have had him as the strongest. I also would have had his race be mutated a different way, and be stated that his mutation of his people are naturally more stronger than Universe 7 Saiyans, for whatever reason. Possibly due to the fact that, they didn't, it could have been multiple reasons. The fact that these are twin universes doesn't mean they have to be exact replicas, because they don't have doppelgangers of the other characters, so their entire histories could have been significantly different also, especially since the fact in that universe they're good guys, whereas in this one they're evil. I felt like they could have made them stronger by the fact that instead of wiping out these planets, they would train with them, and as they would help out these planets and stuff, they would gain new and new abilities from training with them. And sometimes you would have, like, Saiyans crossbreeding, so you would have stronger Saiyans because they would have DNA from other, genetic races. So I'd have Planet Vegeta in this realm, in this world, be, have many interspecies, Saiyans. Like, on Earth we have, half Saiyans who are half human, half Earth, half Saiyan. Whereas that one I would have them as half Saiyan and other alien races combined, so their races would be stronger. And I would have Kaba not a full-blooded Saiyan. I would have had him, like a half-blooded Saiyan. Like, he has, his genes from his Saiyan side and another really powerful alien race that they, mingled with. So that's what I would have done is, like I said, I would have had their landscape be significantly different. I would have had a lot of, hybrid Saiyans that are, mixed in with other species and have different combinations. I'll have Kabe being, a hybrid Saiyan, but the strongest out of all the hybrid Saiyans, a top guard elite level. And also have them more powerful, not only due the genetic mutations through time, but also the fact that when they save these planets and, work with these people, that they obtain different and unique abilities that the Universe 7 Saiyans never really obtained, because they were just wiping out these races and, didn't really try to learn from them, and were stubborn like Vegeta. So that's what I would have done with him. Also, I would have had him obtain a different Super Saiyan type of transformation, like his own, like Universe 6 Saiyans have their own unique Super Saiyan transformation. I would have made their base level higher than the regular Universe 7 Saiyans, and I would have had them have Super Saiyan transformations that are higher than their levels. But even with that being said, I would not make them significantly stronger like how they did in Super. I think Super, they did a really bad job just making them equivalent to Goku and Vegeta, or at least being close to that level. I don't think that should have been the case, because I think Goku and Vegeta, especially them, they're too high level of power. So I don't like that idea, but I would make them still quite significantly stronger. And I would have Kabe obtain a different type of Super Saiyan transformation, I would actually probably make, Kabe the legendary Super Saiyan of his universe. Maybe we could have done that, We could have gave him the legendary transformation instead of, instead of Kale or whatever, but they gave her like this Berserk super form. But yeah, we can have it where the legendary transformations on his planet are far more common. And because the way they did it in the anime is they had Kabe and the other Saiyans not know how to go up Super Saiyan, just have regular base form. The only thing they didn't have was a tail, made them a little bit stronger, and somehow they obtained Super Saiyan and got strong, like quickly, fast, especially like Kale and Kefla. I think that was dumb. If they had Super Saiyan from the jump, and just because they didn't have as much as training as Goku and Vegeta and haven't pushed themselves as far as Goku and Vegeta is that's why they're not that strong, compared to them, or have that much potential. So yeah, I would have him have a ton of potential. I'll have him be a hybrid of different race and stuff. I would have him be the strongest Saiyan. I would have him have the legendary Super Saiyan transformation. I would have him be a bit more unique, but I wouldn't make him ridiculously powerful. I still think he should be significantly weaker than Goku and Vegeta because they just got through way more. But he would have higher potential than those two, from, all the stuff that he has. Botamo, I think he's a cool character. I don't like his design. I don't like the giant Winnie the Pooh design. So it changes design to, a more ferocious, I guess, like bear-like creature. Though I do love his ability where he can absorb damage and transfer it to another dimension, thus negating or nullifying, damage. But I feel like they should have focused on that a little more. Also, I don't like the way that Goku beat him by just throwing him out and eliminating him that way. I think it would have been cooler to see, how much energy or damage could he take and transfer to another dimension. Is he really, like, can he take an infinite amount? Or is it just that he can take a high enough amount where, after that it surpasses it and, breaks it? So I would have done that. Magetta, him being a metal man, personally, I would have gone with something like, what we have in Cooler, the Revenge of Cooler, where he becomes the metal Cooler and stuff. We have like a planet that's like the Big Yeti star itself, where it's like literally a planet formed from like metallic, metal pieces, like a metal build, and the race being an organic slash metallic creatures, kind of like how a metal Cooler was. So I would have them like that, where they're a combination of organic and metallic creatures on a planet that's made out of pure like living machinery and stuff like that. So I'll make them more unique. Also, I'll give them the ability, since they have organic parts, that they can use ki, and with that ki they can strengthen their metallic parts. So they have metallic, like robotic body, but they can significantly amplify it with their their ki reserves. So I would have Magetta like that. Frost, personally, I don't like the idea of the doppelganger, Frieza, and then making him good, and then it turns out to be evil. I do not like that idea in the first place. I also don't like the idea that he uses poisons to obtain his ability or whatever. I simply would have just I would have had a completely different character, or maybe I guess you could keep a Frieza-like character. It's just that I felt like that time that they brought Frieza back already, so bringing him there was kind of like a dumb decision. But if they were gonna do it, I would have just rather have him be a villain and have him be, look like Cooler. I would have just had Cooler, I think that's how I would have done Cooler. Is I would have made in that universe, instead of having Frieza or like a Frieza-esque character, you would have a Cooler-esque character, and he would just be evil from the jump. He won't be, oh, I'm pretending to be good, but then I'm evil. He would be evil from the jump. He would be like Cooler, so he will have like potential of Frieza, but unlike Frieza, this guy would have trained, actually worked on his, himself, so he had a natural high power level at birth. But unlike Frieza, he wasn't lazy. He continuously trained with that high power level. He once again would now be significantly more powerful than these guys. I also wouldn't make him as strong as Frieza when he came back in Resurrection of F and got the golden form, but I would make him decently powerful, at least around like, Super Saiyan 3 level and all the way in the Buu Saga. I would make him around that level. Okay, so yeah, let's get into it. Now, this is what I would do for the fighting for the tournament itself. I would not have Goku go first. I would have had him go, second to last. Or no, actually, I would have had him gone dead last, so he can fight against Hit. Because I don't like the fact that he was fighting against Frost, and Frost poisons him and then takes him out. Then poisons Piccolo and then takes him out, and then they find out like, oh no, Goku gets back in, but Piccolo doesn't. But Goku's gonna come back in later, and we have Vegeta jumping in. I just felt like that was dumb. I did not like that order. So what I would have done was start off with Piccolo versus Magetta. Now Magetta would have decent power and decent abilities, but I would have Piccolo edging out and beating him and eliminating him. Then I would have Piccolo fighting against what's the name? I would have him fight against Cooler's character. Cooler's character would beat him and, just eliminate him from the fight. He would be just beaten. Then I would have, Gohan stepping in to fight Cooler because he wants to beat, Frieza's type as character. And since he's stronger than him, he would beat Cooler. They will go back and forth. He will show his cool abilities, but he would beat him. Then he will fight against, Botamo. But since Botamo has the ability to, absorb any form of damage, Gohan just can't beat him, and Gohan in the end ultimately loses against him. Then they send in Majin Buu, since he has, unique abilities to defeat him. No matter what Buu is doing, he's also not able to hurt Botamo, and he just keeps on firing attacks, but he keeps on absorbing it. So for him to beat him, instead of using conventional attacks, he uses Zatanna to transmorph him into something that's a little bit more fragile, and then takes him out of the ring, basically beating him with his magical ability compared to his ability to absorb damage. So Buu transfers over to the fight against what's the thing called? Fight against Kaba, I think it was. Was Kaba the next one? We had Cooler, we had Magetta. Yeah, the next one will be Cooler. And then this is where we see Cooler's, Kaba's abilities. Kaba is like using different unique abilities to fight Majin Buu, but Majin Buu is just too versatile and quite powerful. So for him to handle him, what he does is he goes into his legendary state, and once when he goes into that, he easily beats, he easily beats him and eliminates him. Goku and Vegeta see like, what the hell? What was that? And then Vegeta realizes that's the legendary form. That's the legendary Super Saiyan transformation. And he realizes, how powerful this guy is. And Goku doesn't understand because he doesn't understand, Saiyan history. So Vegeta's like, I'm going next. I don't care what you say. I'm jumping in next. I want to fight him because of our Saiyan heritage. And he sees potential in this kid, but he just sees that he can't fully control that power yet. He jumps in. Kabu's back in his base. He says, I really don't like going to my legendary Super Saiyan form because I can't really control it. I really lose control of my power, so I want to stay in the base. So him and Vegeta fight in base, but he realizes that Vegeta is just too powerful for him. That if he stays in this way, he's just going to lose, and, they're going to be in trouble. And he doesn't want to go back into that form because the only reason he went against Buu is because Buu was not only powerful, but also he had too much of dangerous techniques for him to beat through, just conventional means. He had to get a significant power boost to handle him. And Vegeta's doing it again, and Vegeta is trying to force it out of him. He pushes it out of him. He goes to his legendary form. He starts getting the beating down on Vegeta. Then Vegeta goes to his Super Saiyan forms and stuff. He starts, training and fighting. And as he's fighting, Kage, he's not fighting him in a sense that he's taking him seriously. He's fighting him in a sense as he's trying to train him. He sees that he has a lot of potential. He has a legendary form. He's very powerful. The only problem with him is the fact that he has no control of that form, and he's struggling with it. So Vegeta sees that he could have the best way to help him out. So as he's fighting him throughout this battle, holding back, he's also helping out Kabe to control his power. Once when he's able to control his power and gets full control over his, legendary form, he gets even stronger, and he gets the control, and Vegeta's like, okay, fine. Now I can use my full power, goes off on him in Super Saiyan 1, beats him into a position where he's losing, and then showcases to him that, hey, look, there's powers beyond just Super Saiyan forms. Even if you have a powerful legendary forms, there are powers above that. I obtained Super Saiyan 1, 2, 3, God, and Super Saiyan God, and my most powerful form to date, Super Saiyan God, which he transforms, bodies him, takes him out, and does the whole lesson that he did in the last one. Hit sees the significance of their power. He sees, the godly form, and he's like, okay, I know I'm gonna have to beat them. Vegeta, him, have the fight. Do it the same way they did in the anime, where they have Vegeta fight him in his, in a weaker state. I would have Vegeta this one, instead of fighting him right off the jump in Super Saiyan Blue, I would have him fight him in Super Saiyan God. Have Hit completely body him Super Saiyan God. He goes Super Saiyan Blue. He's getting the advantage now, beating up on Hit. And as Hit is seeing this, he's like, well, he's significantly more powerful, but I can still, he starts to analyze him and on how to beat him, does the pressure point techniques, and takes him out using, his time skip. He doesn't use time skip against his God form because he just wants to see his natural ability against him. But once when he goes Super Saiyan Blue, he notices that he can't beat Vegeta unless if he uses his, his time skipping abilities. And he does it, he beats Vegeta. Goku and them, obviously, he realizes about his time skip ability. Then we have Goku testing out, Hit's abilities. So he tries to fight him in his God form. He realizes that he has a thing, does the thing where he basically catches him. And then he's like, okay, now I can go into my Super Saiyan Blue form. And now he's bodying, Hit. And Hit is just like, what the hell do I do? Hit does, his stance, increases his power as it goes through. And then we have the whole back and forth thing. And then have Goku mix in the Super Saiyan God form with what's the thing called, with Kaioken. So we're gonna just basically have the same thing that happened in the tournament. So we're gonna have if you saw my last one, I'm saying Saiyan God, Super Saiyan God as Super Saiyan Blue instead of just as regular Super Saiyan God. In this one, I changed it, Super Saiyan God to Saiyan God, and Super Saiyan Blue to Super Saiyan God. So yeah, in his Super Saiyan God form, he goes into his Kaioken times 10, and he's now getting the jump, and then hit, and all that stuff happens, and then it's done. Basically, it's over. He gets beaten, and then I'll have just what's the name? I'll keep in. I forgot what his name was. Uh, oh, with the big nipples. He jumps in and he does that and they save the thing. And then I'll just have Beerus giving back the planet to him. So yeah, it wouldn't be significant changes in my opinion. Like I said, I'll just make the fights longer and I'll change up some of the characters and their backstories and how they were handled. Because I felt like a lot of them were kind of done pretty lame, if I'm being honest. Like, Hit was the only character that I had no problems with. But Tama, I loved his abilities. I just feel like his design was lame. I think they could have just made him look cooler. That's the only problem I had with him. Um, Frost, I don't like the idea of that, but personally, I would have just made his design look like Cooler's, so he would have just been Cooler of that universe. And unlike Frieza, he would have had not only the high potential, but the fortitude to train consistently, and as doing so, he got stronger throughout the time. But I wouldn't give him a significant power boost. I would have Vegeta just being from a planet that's like formed from like the Big Yeti star. That's he's organic but also mechanical, and he can use ki with his mechanical parts to amplify his natural abilities and power already. And I think the biggest change I would definitely have would be Kabe. I would make Kabe look like Shout's design. I would make him the strongest Saiyan there. I'll make him a hybrid with another race. I'll make the Saiyans of that universe have a mutation that makes them stronger. And I will have him have the legendary Super Saiyan form instead of the regular Super Saiyan form and have no control of it. So Vegeta can, teach him and train him. But besides that, I think this, arc was pretty solid. I think there's a lot of good stuff. I will definitely change a lot more when it comes to the Goku Black arc, because if you see my last video, the setup that I was making for it, obviously is going to change quite a bit of it, but I'm going to change even more because I felt like that's out of all the arcs in Super, I would say that's my favorite arc. I just feel like the way it was handled was very poorly, and the way I would handle it would be significantly better, though a lot of people might not agree. But the Tournament of Power, also the same thing. I just can't wait to get into those, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for next time.